Okay, good morning. Hello, everybody. This is Sharonda, and this is my podcast as well as YouTube channel, Spiritual Sense. Today is Monday, which is September the 19th. And in this podcast, as well as this YouTube channel, I go over topics in regards to the paranormal, occult, and supernatural. So I speak on things such as hauntings, curses, soul travel, astral projection, remote viewing. I give my account on what I feel UFOs are. I also discuss pagan belief systems and practices such as Santeria, Satanism, Yoruba religion, voodoo, um, Scientology. So it's an open social discussion. It's not a debate. Um, I have an interest in the paranormal. I have an interest in New Age, and so when I do my research on many of these topics, it's not to be offensive or judge the next person in which you partake in, as long as it's not harmful to yourself, and particularly others. Okay, but I'd like to start off by saying that this podcast, as well as this YouTube channel, is for entertainment purposes. And if you have a question, comment, suggestion, or a topic that you would like me to present on a future show, you're more than welcome to comment below. Okay. So we have the topic that I'm going to speak about today. I did a podcast episode as well as a YouTube presentation, and it is in reference to shape shifting. Shape shifting, I like to refer to that as spiritual countenance. So, what is shape shifting? Shapeshifter, as defined, is one that seems able to change form or identity at will, a mythical figure that can assume different forms. Okay, so basically, that's what it is. I like to refer to that as spiritual countenance. That's what I like to refer to it as. You may have some people out there that may say you're mentally ill. No, shape shifting is real. Um, I'm not talking about somebody going throwing a wig on to look different. No, I'm not talking about somebody that goes to work out and change their physique or physical physique. I'm not talking about somebody going putting on makeup to look different or put on contacts, color contacts, or what have you. No, this is not that. This is not what I'm talking about. Now, the many of the websites that I may be referring to or have clicked on um, may refer to it as that. What I'm talking about is spiritual countenance, and you will have the ability to see differently. You'll begin to see enhancement in features, enhancement in certain things, and I even went so far as to see a twinkling of an eye, sparkles around people. God will put it in your mind's eye. You'll begin to see that, and that's how you would know when there's something significant in relation to whatever, what the focus is on. So I'm on a website and it mentions about shape shifting. Um, it mentions that shape shifting is the ability to physically transform into another shape, be it that of another human or animal. This is also includes the idea that animals can turn into other animals. Shape shifting can come out about in a variety of ways. In some ways, the ability to shape shift is an inherent one, meaning some people are simply born with the skill. Other shapeshifters allegedly acquire the skill by means of magic or divine intervention. So shape shifting is not just merely going and changing your appearance. No, it's more spiritual than you would know. And I could be a sarcastic person. I think most people have a sense of humor. I have a sense of humor. But in terms of this right here, this is not no sense of humor. This is not mental ill. This is not me trying to gain notoriety or popularity. This is something that is real. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, when things are apart from what we have deemed as laws of the land or laws of society or laws of this existence, we will refer to that as paranormal, abnormal, mental illness, or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna tell you, it is real. Of course, just because you don't believe in it or take note or want to acknowledge it does not mean that it's not real. You know, I do feel as though if you do entertain it, you know, like say for instance, if you're curious about something, it's going to pop up. You oftentimes will see it off many a times. The same way, like if you notice that you go buy a car, a brand new car. Notice how it seems as though you take note or focus on that particular car when you purchase it. Or it could be, a car someone else purchased. And then all of a sudden, somehow it seems like you always, not necessarily always, because that's not really a true word, but seems like you frequently see it. Okay. So basically, this website here goes over the different shapeshifting, and I did go over that when I did the podcast last time. Many of this stuff can be perceived as being um prejudice, to say the least. But I do feel as though that's a taunt that's a those are taunted spirits to get you to not be aware of what is out there, what presents. Because I honestly feel as though shape shifting can be in a positive sense of the matter. It also can be in an unfavorable, negative, dark, evil force in the matter as well. And so once the spiritual eyes has been opened, God will give you that inclination, that capability to detect shapeshifters and shape shifting. Um, I think this is God given discernment. I think more people are able to see and take note of things as such. However, they choose to not give power to it. That means keep it to yourself, because when you begin to speak like this to people who have not been conditioned to see and understand, the first thing they're going to want to do is put you in the paddy wagon, straight jacket and all. This is discernment. Shape shifting is something that God will, the ability to see shapeshifters. This is God giving you discernment as to who you can trust and who you cannot. It's God unleashing and unveiling the demon within people. We are not all perfect. That means we are contained by this time in existence, this human blood, sweat, tears, flesh. So we will all battle demons in one form and fashion or the next. Simple as that. But shape shifting, it is a real thing. Um, I mentioned about spirit channeling. As such, I feel as though most people spirit channel than they would know. And I think that in essence, it works the same way with shape shifting. Do I feel as though and this is on speaking in terms of two sides of the spectrum. I'm speaking in terms of shape shifting or spiritual countenance in reference to people who present it out. Like that is not a gift. The ability to see it is the gift. However, this is in reference to those who are seers. Everybody doesn't have that capability. Like you would literally see twinkling of the eye of people. You have a small, still voice that speaks to you by way of wisdom. People would say that you cuckoo crazy, and they would try to denounce you and undermine you to deem you incompetent, incapable, and inadequate. You got to understand this is the biggest trick the devil ever pulled is what? Convincing the world he did not exist. And when you are in situations where there's a whole lot of confusion and a whole lot of wondering and head scratching, God will unleash and unveil things to you so you can gain insight and discernment. Particularly if you are in a situation where no one can be trusted, where if you're in fear, say for instance, if you're working a dangerous job that can possibly have you um killed at a moment's notice or injured at a moment's notice. So in essence, this is God giving you discernment, a higher sensibility in regards to what you can trust, who you can trust, and things of that sort. And I think if you go back and listen to my podcast that I did, because I did do two, I did an episode back in I want to say 2020, and then I did an update, I want to say last year, when I mentioned about spirit related job fields. And spirit related job fields, these are fields that people gravitate to. Gravitate to. And you gravitate to these fields based on the heart. The heart is unleashed, the heart is unveiled, and this is why you gravitate to certain fields. That's what I'm getting at. So, in essence, spiritual countenance, shape shifting, it's the ability to take note of and discernment. And oftentimes, people will metamorph into a certain individual or a group of individuals, and you'll begin to see as this person who is the hallmark or the poster child or the poster boy or the quote unquote Jesus, you will begin to metamorph into that same similar look without even thinking about it. And that's how the people who are conditioned to see can associate, okay, now is this? Is the situation? You know, um, can I definitively say that that's what that is? Shape shifting is real, it's a real thing. Okay. So let me see if I'm able to gain some more information. So I'm not going to go over a lot of this because a lot of the things that I did choose to go on these websites, I did. But a lot of the things that you will find on the website can be um, mockery or adversary or the things of that sort. Okay. And I could understand and respect that because, in the essence, you don't want to sensationalize it. You want to minimize it. That means you don't want to give it power because Many people, I mean, when you begin to let people know that you have the ability to see demons on them, that's very unsettling, to say the least. So trust and believe I can understand that. I can trust and believe I can respect and understand that. A shapeshifting is real. It's a spiritual countenance. Um, but it mentions that another definition is a person or being with the ability to change their physical form at will. So, as I mentioned, if a person is battling demons, it will present itself to you. You will begin to see it. So shape shifting is something that you will hear a lot in Native American folklore or mythology. And so I'm going to read off of this website. It says shape shifting is a tradition that exists in most native cultures. It's the metamorphosis of a person into an animal or other form. In many traditions, cultures, it's still practiced today, and there's a value in learning to do it yourself. So do I believe in people metamorphosing themselves into another person? I do. Do I believe people metamorphosing themselves into an animal? I do. And I'm going to explain to you what that is. That is called discernment. That is called discernment. This is God by way of providing insight and clarity to you in regards to whatever the case may be. So you will begin to know certain things. It's like a covert way of providing insight without coming forthright and letting them people know. Because when God deemed for you to know, others may not be deemed to know that. It's the point that I'm getting at. Everybody's not everybody's not going to be your friend. That's just bottom line. That's how life works. And oftentimes if we are someone that is unadulterated in our thoughts and our actions and our beliefs and our being, if we are naivete about certain things, and we never met a stranger, so to speak. And you can very well be in the company of somebody that is not uh favorable for you, particularly if you're someone that is in, an abusive relationship or something that's not for you, or a dangerous job or any given situation. And this is God giving you discernment and insight by way of, okay? So it is a real thing. And I'm not going to go over a lot of this information, but I will go over this piece here because I think this to be very interesting. So if you're wanting to shapeshift, it's an exercise that you can practice to have that ability to do so. Close your eyes and allow yourself to become deeply relaxed. As a suggestion, have a friend drum a very steady, continuous beat. This is a traditional method to shapeshift, or play music designed for relaxation, which can help you enter into an altered state of consciousness. Number two, imagine that your body is metamorphosing into another form. It can be anything you choose. Take time to experience fully how that other being feels. Number three, with your eyes closed, allow your body to move subtly, almost imperceptibly, while feeding yourself, feeling yourself changing into another shape. Number four, really imagine that you've become that animal, plant, mineral, or another person. Involve all your senses. Imagine what you would smell, taste, hear, and feel. Okay. The next one says, afterward, while it's still fresh in your memory, take or make notes about your experience. And these right here are some exercises that you can do or practice and that you can do in terms of shape shifting. I'm going to frown upon this because I don't think um that is why I'm getting it in regards to this podcast episode. I am talking about detecting shape shifting. I am not asking anyone to do that or partake into shape shifting, okay? Because I do think it's a form of spirit conjuring. And as I mentioned, I think spirit conjuring is a gift provided that it is in a positive sense of the matter. Like you want to be able to conjure up a doctor who truly knows apart from what has been commercialized in healthcare now. Because I do feel as though you have innovative um, things in terms of healthcare and protection of patients and things, but I do feel as though you have things that are traditional and may be need to be updated. That's what I'm getting at. Um, so the ability to channel and conjure a doctor or lawyer or whomever from a time and ago is real. It's real. Okay. So I'm not going to be on here too much longer, but I do thank you for tuning in to this episode of Spiritual Sense. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, have a safe and wonderful day. Good day.